In this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually make money if Tether loses its peg, and you can earn interest while doing it. Usually, when you short something, you have to pay some kind of premium in order to short the asset, but in this case, you're actually going to be earning interest on your short position. Before we get into it, I want you to know that this video is for informational purposes only, and I encourage you to do outside research before you dive into any of the financial positions I'm about to outline in this video. I'm assuming you already have some background on Tether, but to summarize it, the main problem that people have with Tether is that it's a US dollar coin that might not be fully backed by US dollars. In fact, Tether admits that they are not fully backed by US dollars, but they do say that they are fully backed by other assets. There's a lot of speculation as to what these other assets actually could be, and many people believe that they are holding an oversized position of Chinese corporate debt. While this may be okay, there are some concerns given the recent economic situation in China. Chinese mega company Evergrande has collapsed over the last few months and might be struggling to pay back some of its debt obligations. For this reason, a number of people think that Tether might actually be underwater on the amount of Tether stablecoins that are in circulation. If you want to learn more about the Tether situation, check out a good CoffeeZilla video that I've linked below, and there's also a really good Bloomberg article on the topic. Alright, let's get into it. The prerequisites for this video is that you have a MetaMask wallet loaded up with some USDC on Polygon. If you don't have any USDC on Polygon, you can also do this with Ethereum, Avalanche, or Arbitrum, and the steps will be almost exactly the same, but I'm going to be using Polygon for this video. To create this position, we're going to be using Instadapp, which allows us to react with the aave lending protocol in some more complicated ways. To start, let's go ahead and go to instadapp.io and hit dashboard. As you can see, you're going to need to log into your MetaMask. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, once you're on the dashboard, you're going to need to go ahead and switch to Polygon Network. So in this top right corner, go ahead, click on that, and switch to Polygon. If you're using Arbitrum, Avalanche, or Ethereum mainnet, you can go ahead and pick whichever one that you're using. Once you're on the Polygon page, you're going to want to look over on the right here and hit create account. Here we're going to connect our MetaMask account to Instadapp so that we can interact with protocols on Polygon. You will have to pay gas, but luckily on Polygon the gas fees are almost nothing. This is like 1 cent gas fee. Depending on the gas you paid and the traffic on the network, that transaction may take a minute to go through. I'll jump back as soon as it's done. Okay, it looks like our transaction went through and our account is created. So we can click Manage under this DeFi Assets section. Now we're looking at our aave dashboard on Instadapp. Right now, we don't have any positions, so everything is shown as 0. But as you can see, these numbers will probably change once we start adding our positions. In order to use Instadapp, we first have to deposit into the protocol. So you can do this by clicking on balance and then clicking on deposit. So I'm going to go ahead and over here, hit deposit, and I can see my USDC balance comes up. If this doesn't happen automatically for you, you might need to add your USDC under your assets in your MetaMask. So go here, hit import tokens, and then if you paste the USDC address, you should be able to add that token, hit import, and then now you can see that on your MetaMask. So we can see that here. We're going to deposit $100 worth of USDC, hit deposit, and then you'll have to approve the transaction. Okay, that transaction works. So now we should have access to our USDC. You can see our balance is now $100. And now we can actually start with our position. So let's go ahead and do the first step of our position, which is to supply USDC into the aave smart contract. So when we supply this $100, we'll be earning this 5.58% interest plus about 2% interest in Matic rewards. In this case, the total interest we'll earn is around 7.6%. To supply, I'm going to go ahead and hit supply, set max to deposit all of it, and then hit supply. Then confirm that transaction. Okay, we now have our USCC here. It's under USCC right now. It's showing $99.4. The price actually fluctuates a little bit based on the markets in crypto, but it will stay around $1 per USCC. So now comes the fun part. We can go up to strategies here and then click on leverage or max, aave, or matic. What we're actually going to do is we're going to borrow Tether using our USDC as collateral. Then we're going to take that new Tether, sell it, buy more USDC, and then deposit that. Then, using that new collateral that's deposited, we're going to borrow more Tether and repeat this cycle. It might sound risky to leverage it up like this, and it is riskier, but because these assets are both pegged to $1, the price fluctuations are very low, and it allows us to leverage more than we would with more volatile currencies. As you might imagine, there is actually a cost to borrowing Tether. You can see here that it costs 11% right now to borrow, but we are getting back 7.5% in rewards to borrow. Because of these rewards, you can take this, the overall cost is about 3.5% to borrow, and from up here, our overall profit from supplying collateral is about 7.5%. So that's about 4.5% as a base level that we're earning by supplying USDC and borrowing Tether. The fun part is that because we're leveraging that 4.5%, we're actually going to be earning a lot more than that. So let's actually execute it. Like I said, go to this strategies over here and this leverage max, aave, or matic strategy. For collateral, we're going to be using our USDC, and our debt is going to be USDT. And now we'll select the amount of USDT up here that we actually want to have as debt. And the way I like to do this is just make sure that we're around 75%, which gives us a pretty large margin of error in case the prices fluctuate. Okay, so I've gone ahead and found that around $300 of leverage will give us a 75% leverage ratio. It's very important that you keep an eye on this because if this 75% goes above 85%, your position will be liquidated. Okay, so let's go ahead and initiate that leverage by clicking this and approving the transaction. All right, that transaction was confirmed. Now we should be able to see, yep, so right now our position is for about $400 of USDC collateral and $300 of USDT debt, all from that initial $100 USDC. Our net APY, which includes our supply APY, plus the rewards we're getting on supplying USDC and borrowing USDT, magnified by our leverage, is around 19%. Not bad. It's important to note that this number can actually get much higher if these interest rates change, like if the borrow rate for Tether were to come down. Also, in rare instances, they can go negative. If the borrow rate for USDT spikes, we might actually have a negative APY here. In the case that we have a negative APY here, which is rare because of the rewards, but in that case, you would want to either unwind the position or just make sure you have enough collateral to get through. You can always check your D to C or debt to collateralization ratio by looking here. And like I said, it's very important that you stay below 85. So how does this actually short Tether? Right now, we own 399 USDC and we owe 300 Tether. Let's just say the price of Tether were to drop to 50 cents on the dollar. In that case, we would only owe $150 on our 300 Tether that we've borrowed, but we would still own all 400 USDC, and so the value of that would be higher. And so we would get to keep that value. Over time, it's important to perform maintenance on your position. So you'll earn rewards in Matic. What you'll want to do is when you've reached a certain number of rewards, you want to claim them swap them for USDC, and then deposit that USDC. The reason you want to do that is because over time, some of your USDC will be converted into Matic rewards because our positive interest rate comes from those Matic rewards. And so you should always keep an eye on the 75% and make sure to keep it around 75%. If you're adding your Matic back as USDC, this should go down over time. Like I also said, it's important to keep an eye on these interest rates. You can check those out on the aave.com markets by looking at these rates. If this USDC borrow rate skyrockets, then your position will probably be losing money to interest. The biggest risk of this trade is that the price of USDC will drop in relation to USDT and would cause your ratio to go above 85%, and then your entire position would be liquidated. Obviously, it's very bad if this happens, but personally, I'm much more concerned with USDT dropping than USDC, as I think that USDC is a much more stable and well-regulated coin. Personally, I would say to start small while you're taking on these more complicated positions. And for me, I don't have the majority of my money in this position. I'm using it as a hedge because I'm long crypto over the long term. I am still worried that a crash in USDT might cause the crypto markets to go down. So I'm using this to hedge myself against that risk. If you want me to make more strategy videos like this, please like and subscribe. It really keeps me motivated to keep producing videos. This stuff can be confusing, so if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below and I'd be happy to respond and try and help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.